Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to paint a little bluebird with a nest and some spring flowers. I think it's going to be really fun. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, buddy.
He's man in chat today, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I'm using a Fredrix mixed media canvas board today. This is a 9x12 size, and I have coated it with burnt umber, not very well. It's kind of streaky, but that's okay. We're going to be painting over it. Just wanted a dark color to start with. Let me go over our colors. Speaking of, I've got carbon black, burnt umber. Oop, my camera is way over here. Burnt sienna, quinacridone burnt orange. And I added a few colors that you might not have, but that's fine. I just put them out because I can hear myself. Raw sienna, yellow oxide, Naples Yellow Hue, Indian Yellow Hue, Cadmium Yellow Light. This one is Cobalt Teal, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Quinacridone Magenta. And then I've got Titan Buff and Unbleached Titanium, which is a Liquitex color. Most of all these other colors are golden, but this one is a fluid acrylic, so I needed the fluid. This one is also a fluid acrylic, and I've also got a fluid in the raw sienna that I'll probably be pulling out. And then I've got titanium white and zinc white, and I do need some gloss glazing liquid, which I did not put out. There we go. Okay. And as far as brushes go, if you've got one of these dagger stripers, those are the ones that I like to use for doing nests because they do a long line, but they also kind of have a really unique flow to them. So if you've got one of these, kind of an angle brush with a curve, longer end here. So, but you can also just use an angle brush. So if you don't have that one, don't worry about it. You can use an angle brush. I've got a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch angle brush. I've got my dagger stripers in different sizes. I'm going to want a large brush for your background, so I'll grab my 8 Filbert. And I might actually need a bigger brush because that took forever to paint that background with that one. I'll grab a 12 Bright, and then just some round brushes. So I've got a couple different sizes of round, 2 and 2 odd, and then my blenders, which are kind of a stiff bristle Filbert. And then I'm not going to need that one, I don't think. Well, I might. Script liner, and then a Filbert, number 4 Filbert. So I'm not sure I'm going to need all those brushes, but I grabbed all of them just in case. These are all Princeton brushes, so thank you to Princeton and for Fredrix for the canvas. All right, let's get going here. We're going to be hitting the road here soon. Son's going to be left in charge of the house, and we're going to go get to see our other son and grandson. So it's going to be fun. All right. What?
And daughter-in-law.
And daughter-in-law. Yes, Courtney. Yes, we're glad to see you too. Okay, so I'm just kind of using my fingers to sort of map out how big I want my bird to be. So I want it to fill up this area here. Kind of turn this way and come back that way. Something like that. So that'll be our bird. So our nest is going to come up right up to here and just be all up in here crazy. All kinds of fun. And then our eggs are going to be somewhere in here. And then we'll have flowers and things coming up right there. But that'll be kind of that's all I'm going to sketch really. And we're just going to paint it out. Let's get going here. So for the background, I'm going to go ahead and kind of work on that just a little bit around our stuff. I'll probably end up painting over my bird, but I kind of know where I want my nest at least. So for the nest, I'm going to get a little bit of black, and I'm just going to go in the kind of center area, the black of the nest. I found that helps me to have a nice, really dark base. Use the burnt umber too. I don't want it completely black everywhere, but just a little bit of black, especially in that middle area, will really help give it some depth. Okay.
Brings back some memories.
I know. I've painted so many nests.
This was your bread and butter for a while.
I sold a lot of nest paintings.
Some of your earliest YouTube videos are nests.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't do it difficult though. I did it really, really. Oh yeah, that's true though. I showed my process, but one of my first tutorial nests was very, very like rudimentary, easy version, and so
And you did a finger painting one once.
I did. Yeah, that's right. You're right. I forgot about that. I'm going to use burnt umber. I didn't clean my brush out, so I grabbed the Phthalo blue, and I'm going to use this black and burnt umber and a little bit of the burnt sienna here, and just make a really dark, and I'm using the 12 bright. I don't know if I mentioned that. Really dark teal. You can see it just has a slight teal leaning. I'm going to darken up my corners. This dark color is going to really make our brighter colors pop. So it's really dramatic and beautiful. I think I really like using a dark base for my nest paintings. I did several, like I said, over the years, and my favorites were always the ones where I used a really dark background. So don't know why, it just seems like it looks best. All right. Just use up the rest of that. And then I'm going to mix up a little bit more of it. Just grabbing both of those at the same time. And a little bit of white. And if it's too bright, add more of the browns. I don't want it to be a blue necessarily, I want it to look more gray. So that looks good. So kind of equal parts burnt sienna, burnt umber, and a little bit of blue. And I'm just going to lay my brush almost flat here and just brush it around and add some little kind of dry brushed. Laying my brush flat will kind of keep it from going on solid. So I'm just kind of trying to skim it across, and add a little texture to my background. Grunge it up a little bit. I used the grunge filter on my drawing. I did a digital drawing of this. That I think it's my first time doing a full. Well, no, I've done a couple before, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, getting to do the. This is my own little imagination here. I used a couple of reference photos to kind of get an idea of the bird especially, but just wanted to kind of have something very, very spring. Just was in the mood for it. It's my birthday month. I gotta treat myself this month. I had a really funny comment that was like, "Good for you painting all those flowers," or I don't know. It was actually, I deleted it because it wasn't very nice, but it was really pretty funny because I was like, yeah, good for me. Like, I will have fun painting flowers. Thank you very much. Exactly. Like, I'm glad I have your permission. Oh my gosh, people are funny. But yeah, just gotta paint what makes you happy. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And
You know, if dirty laundry makes you happy, then paint dirty laundry.
exactly.
Dishes, dirty dishes, paint dirty dishes. I mean, whatever makes you happy. We'll question your sanity, but if it makes you happy, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. How'd that get weird? Got weird. All right, so that's good. I added a little bit of white, just kind of a couple of, dark, medium, and light. So, and the light, you use the least amount of the light, so, because it's going to really draw the eye. So these like little bits of light here, we're just kind of barely adding here and there, and I kind of covered it back up over here because I did too much. All right, that's good. I left my nest nice and dark. Completely covered my bird, so I'm going to have to sketch that in. Well, that's okay. We'll paint it in here. Put that one over there because it's dirty. All right, so let's do our nest. Woo, fun. All right, I'm going to start with my largest dagger striper. That's a 3/8 inch dagger striper. This one is the Princeton Umbria. These are a little stiffer bristles. I'm not sure if this is going to work because I've tried them before and they kind of I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. I'm not going to judge it before we try it. Okay, you're up.
Me?
No, I'm talking about Umbria.
Okay.
Here, you're up to bat here. Let's see how you do. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of make a series of sweeping brush strokes and just trying to keep the opening of the nest in mind. So that will be kind of the opening, right, where we're seeing down inside. And then this upper part is going to be a little bit more narrow than this bottom part. This bottom part's going to be a little bit thicker. And that's just because we're seeing the nest tilted a little bit. So the upper rim will be a little bit more narrow. And I'm using a kind of medium dark, so this is the raw sienna mixed with the burnt umber to kind of lay in. This one's working just fine, so this brush is going to work nicely. And again, you'd use it the same way if you're using an angle brush or whatever. You're just kind of turn it so that as you go around these corners, you're turning it. Now you can also use a round brush if you find that difficult. If you don't, can't turn your brush as you're going around these curves, you can just use a round brush and do these. I find it a little bit more difficult to use a round brush just because, you can see the amount of paint that you can hold on this versus this. I have to reload my brush using a round brush probably 5 times more often, so that's why I use the larger brushes for this kind of thing. Okay, so now I've got like a little bit of a base down. I'm gonna grab a little bit lighter color and start adding some of that. And I'm going to crisscross as I do this, so I don't want them to all go in the same direction. These nests are kind of interwoven and they just do all kinds of random things. And we're going to just keep on adding more and more little branches to it. I'm going to get a little bit lighter color, get a little bit of that Naples yellow, and you can see that this works so well with fluid acrylics, so you really want to use those if you can, if you have them. And I'm letting some of them go a little bit wider at places. The finer grasses and things that they use for their nest will have all these kind of different turns. Some of them will be wider bladed and some of them will be thinner. So I just kind of get into the flow here and just do a bunch of them. And then once I kind of don't see that background as much anymore, that's kind of when I know I can kind of go on to the next step. So just want to make sure that you're not seeing a ton of gaps through your thing. So see, all in here, you can still see that background really heavily through there. So I just need to fill that whole area in. Let's get some burnt sienna. We'll get some reddish toned leaves, and I just like to use just all kinds of different browns and things. Getting some darker browns, and then some of these are going to go curl up high. So I want to get some of those in. And come out like that. And then up over here. Okay. I'm just making it part of the nest, just kind of curving it into the nest and out from it a little bit on the sides. Okay. I'm getting some lighter color. I'm gonna kind of square off this front with a little bit of the lighter toned grasses. And then before I get much more going here, I'm going to get a little bit of the blue, what color is that? Phthalo blue, thank you. Oh, I am deep into the art brain right now. So just kind of a light, kind of the similar color that we used in the background here. It's got to be pretty subtle. You see how subtle it is? It's maybe one shade darker or lighter, I mean. So we're just going to do these inside, and the inside ones are really fine, usually very small little sticks and grasses and fluffy bits, and they're going to be crisscrossing in a big, very, just like this, you know, just a big tangle, all different directions. And then as it comes up, you're going to start to see those rounded, longer lines on the sides and up in here, connecting to our outer area. There we go. So now we've got our inside of our nest, our outer area there. I'm going to get some of the brighter turquoisey color. I always like to add a little bit of my color that I'm going to use in my nest eggs in the outer part. So just a few little bits of green. And get some burnt umber here. Anchoring the bottom area with a little bit darker color there. And then getting my lighter color, my Naples Yellow Hue, just a nice light yellow. I just find it was like perfect color for kind of a straw to do this kind of detail. Now I'm going to kind of carefully sort of draw in some of the brighter, just very lightly. This is going to create the movement, really shape out the nest. So you should have kind of all of the highlighted areas, all the top portions of the nest that are catching the most light, having that little lighter area. And then I'm going to throw out some lighter bits down in here. Okay. We're gonna have to let that dry really well before we can glaze it. But glazing is one of the most important parts of this that I found that I like to do, because that it kind of just takes it up a notch. But let's go ahead and put in our eggs.
Same for donuts.
What?
Glazing takes it up a notch. I mean, plain donuts are fine. They're good on their own, but
True.
glaze them, boom.
True that. So I'm going to add a little bit of raw sienna. You could add a little bit of burnt umber if you don't have raw sienna, or like yellow oxide and burnt umber or something like that. That's kind of raw sienna is sort of a cross between like a burnt umber and a yellow oxide. It's just like a little bit more of a brown. And as much as I want to make these speckled eggs, they aren't speckled, and raw Bluebird eggs are not speckled, so I'm kind of sad about that because I did them speckled in my photo and I liked it, but that's okay. So I'm gonna do our little egg shape, and of course we all know what an egg shape looks like, so I'm just gonna do a little bit narrower on one side, a little bit wider on the other. I'm starting with kind of a medium tone there. Okay, good. And then I'm going to leave a space and do the second one kind of right nestled up next to it. And then a third one that is overlapping. We're gonna have to do a lot more to these, but it'll be a good start. How's everybody doing today? Did they figure out our early time?
So they're good.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know if we have anybody from Australia because it's like middle of the night for them.
Okay.
Sorry for our Australian homies that we missed you today.
Mm-hmm.
We have several names in here that are new.
Oh, nice.
So welcome to you.
Welcome. Yeah,
glad you found us.
Definitely.
Or we found you, however that goes.
Or YouTube. I'd be curious where they heard about us from.
Well,
Do
I
a
think
roll
they're
call, find out.
they're our followers, but may not be able to make it to the normal
I see.
2 o'clock
I
show.
see.
So this might be
Better time for them.
better for them. Yeah.
Mm. Check.
Now we do have plenty of our
Yeah.
unusual suspects with us. So
Nice. Good. I'm glad everybody. Brennan posted the wrong time yesterday, and we didn't notice it until late last night. So when we were putting out the newsletter, so hopefully that didn't throw anybody off. Hopefully he sent out another thing this morning, but
yeah, I sent one out too.
good. All right, so this is, let me see if it's dry. Sometimes it can go on fairly thick. Okay, that looks dry enough. All right, so I'm going to grab my Filbert here, this 8 Filbert here, and some burnt Umber in my glazing medium. And so if you don't have glazing medium, just use water for this. But you just want it to be transparent. See how you can see through it through the palette to the palette. That's when you know that it's just about right. There we go. And I'm going to use that on my nest here. And I'm just going to darken up. You see how that kind of just, see the difference there? It just makes it a little bit deeper. Just softens all the tones, kind of makes it a little bit more, I don't know, warmer. And I'm gonna just do it in my dark areas and keep the lighter areas fairly light. So I'm not gonna go over them too much. There we go. And I can even get a little bit of black. I'll do the very bottom with a little bit of black. And just like in here where we're going to have lots of flowers and things, some of our darker areas. There we go. Looks good. Okay. Now I just have to let that dry. I can work on the Bluebird actually. So let's go ahead and draw him in better. Or her. Is it the male?
Male
Kind of
is
work.
the
This
male.
is the male.
That's
Yeah,
the male,
this is the male.
yes. We got to put on more. Well, you know, the males of birds are usually much more brighter and flamboyant than males of humans.
Yeah, no. You know, males used to dress much, you know, really more colorful, like in the, I don't know, 1800s or whenever it was. 1700s with the super colorful coats and stuff. I don't know really why that went out of fashion. It's funny how, you know, people we're so concerned about that as a people. You don't want to look different, you know. So
Well, I'm very colorful and vibrant today. I got my kind of ivory shirt on and my blue jeans.
yeah, you're in beige and blue.
But, you know, we've been married for 30 plus years, so
I think the
I'm not really
younger
putting on a
generation is kind of
ritual.
what?
I'm not really putting on a ritual for anything.
Not trying to attract my attention. Okay, here we go. So he's looking back this way. The eye is somewhere in there. Usually the eye is like right across from the beak opening, so it's just kind of a good way of. So, little rounded head. Body is coming in straight from under the beak, just about right here. This is the back. Wings coming out this way. And then the tail. Probably put the tail a little long. And then body comes down. I hopefully didn't put it too close to this. I think it's fine. And the 2 feet like that. It looks like he's kind of gonna fall off, but we'll see. I'll try to get him situated on there a little bit better. I'm gonna use the 3/8" angle here, and some burnt sienna and some burnt umber and burnt orange. Burnt Sienna, burnt umber, burnt orange.
Something's burnt.
One of those. Everything's burnt.
Burnt quesadilla. Burnt. What?
I haven't done that in a while. It's been a few weeks. Okay.
That could be your special paint color we work out with.
Burnt
Cold in.
quesadilla. That's hilarious. That would really be funny. Yeah. Get some white. Get some of that brown black color, and I added a tiny touch of that reddish, but I don't want too much of it because this is going to be the underbelly. Just using the tip of the brush to kind of draw that in. It's kind of more gray than reddish. I need to get a little bit of black here. Yeah, there we go. And kind of where they meet, they just sort of, the red sort of overlaps the white belly. So we'll, when we put our highlight colors on, we'll cover some of that up. Okay. Then I'm going to get my Ultramarine Blue and Phthalo Blue. Kind of 50-50. And a little bit of, there we go. Yeah, that's about the color right there. Ooh, pretty.
Nice.
Gonna bring it out quite as much as I did there. And then the face. Okay. And get some of the yellowish. Got a little bit of the Naples Yellow and the yellow oxide with my burnt orange here. I'm just gonna while that blue is wet, I'm just gonna kind of go over that line a little bit. And just add my little feathers in over the top of my dark area. Put them down here. Leaving a little bit of the dark underbelly showing, or the darker color showing here and there. There we go. And then let's add just a little bit more of the whitish color and add it right around the face here. There's little bits right there. Okay.
So what were your colors to get that blue?
Ultramarine blue and phthalo blue, and then white. And I think I added a little bit of unbleached titanium too, which will make it a little bit more of a neutral white. Yeah. Get that darker original color putting back in here. Okay, like that. I'm just going to kind of wipe off my chalk line, which I think I probably can't get off at this point. No, it's coming off. Okay. What?
Those are not size of anything. That's just Angela thinking.
Yes. And honestly, yeah, somebody was like, oh, you sigh too much. And I was like, well, if you actually look up or, you sound like you're bored. Like, I sigh when I'm thinking. Yeah. And actually, if you look up the science behind sighing, because I was like, is that weird? It is a sign of thinking. And most people sigh like way more than you think that they do. That's a normal thing. You're paying attention because you're listening. Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why I don't sigh very much.
Why? Because you're not thinking.
Yeah. So obviously women think or sigh much more than men, is what you're saying.
Probably, maybe. Yeah. I kind of grab the black now. We're going to get in trouble. Okay, I need to move that eye down. Yeah, that's right. And then there we go. And let's put the leg in here. And I'm just going to kind of curl those little feet in a little. Probably need to move the foot up. I'm going to move the foot up here just a little bit more. I think it's a little higher on the belly. This one is down. There we go. Okay, get some white. And I'm going to highlight the top of the beak and the split. So, right there and there. And then I'm going to add some gray around the eye. Get some more of my blue and fill in a little bit better around the face. I kind of messed up the eye there, but that's okay. We'll put it back in. So I'm going to get a little bit lighter blue now. I'm just going to highlight the top of the head. I've switched to the 2 round here. And I'm going to get a little bit more of those 2 blues. Whoa, what did I just step into? Got some of that. Yeah, just gonna kind of go back back and forth there between the darker and the lighter. And I'm going to grab a little bit of black and some darker feather details. Tone it down just slightly with a little bit of burnt umber, but not much. A little bit of white. Just gonna throw in some individual feather like things here.
Feather like things.
Little lines just kind of going down the back there. Give a little indication of some feathers. A little bit lighter white. A little bit lighter blue, I mean, with it. Okay, getting there.
So quickly just gonna throw in there about patreon.com. That's where you can sign up to get traceables and bonus contents, videos, Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you go to that link below, then it has a description of the levels and everything that's available in them.
Yep, we're gonna have the traceable for this. I'm gonna work on it in the car, so we'll see how it looks. If it's a little janky, then
No, I mean you're not tied down
you
to
blame
the
Mark.
right. Yeah, you're not tied down to the $2, $5, $10 levels. I mean, if you want to sign up for the $1 million level, go ahead. That comes with a 1 free lawn mowing per year. So just to let you know, you can exchange that for. I have to think 1 shoveling, like if you're in the colder climates, right?
Okay.
So, but that's once every 2 years, since I don't really like the cold. So, but anyways, thank you for all the people that are supporting us month after month, or actually supporting Angela. I'm not really doing anything. You're not supporting me because I'm not doing anything.
You can take credit. It's okay.
Okay. And follow her over there on TikTok.
We all know who they like more.
And what's your TikTok handle?
Thankful Art.
At Thankful Art.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I see a theme.
I know. Okay, made up some yellow there. Mark was talking, so I wasn't.
Sorry.
The burnt umber, burnt sienna, quinacridone burnt orange, a little bit of yellow oxide, and a little bit of the Indian yellow hue. Just basically kind of the color that we did before. I went a little bit more yellow this time, though. So a little bit more yellow for the highlights on the bird. Come on. And if it's not covering, then you can add a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium. It will cover up a little bit better. I want this to be more straight across. I don't know how it got so diagonal there. And then I need to do this underbelly with a little bit of gray and white. Okay. And then get some of that lighter color and kind of just where they meet. Add a little bit of the lighter orangey on top. Okay, I'm gonna stop messing with them. Get my black hair. Round out that eye. Get some more of that gray. Put the gray behind it. Highlight the. Okay, why? Try that again. The shape's a little bit off. Kind of curves down just a little bit right there. Okay, that's better. And then there's a little bit of a yellowish, orangey right here where it kind of connects to the mouth or to the body. All right, and then get some more of that light gray. Bring it up around the eye. So the top of the head here should come in over and kind of just meet up with the beak right there. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of tap in some of the smaller blue around the eye. Get some more of that black again. Make sure the under part of the beak right here is nice and dark. And then get my white. And this is where you can use Zinc White too if you want. But this is so small, you don't need much. There we go. Little dot in the highlight on the eye there. Oops, touched the wrong part of the eye there. Okay. Get a little bit of the gray and just going underneath the eye. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead and work on our eggs. I'm gonna get my angle brush. So we get more of that turquoise. I'm gonna add a little bit of burnt sienna and phthalo blue to it to get a dark teal for our shadow part of our eggs. This is where I'm going to use a little bit of glaze again. Not much though, because these are not fully filled in yet, so I'm still have to kind of fill in the color. It's not fully in yet. So adding a little bit of that darker color, kind of like along the bottom there, and then I'm going to get some more of the teal and unbleached titanium. What did I use? Naples Yellow? I might have. Yeah, I did. Okay, gonna give it a second coat here, and then just that coat that I just did of the darker color is still wet. If it's dry on you, then you can let it dry, or if it's starting to dry, I should say. If it's not fully dry and it's getting tacky, then just let it dry all the way before you do this. But I caught it soon enough, I think, that I can kind of just tap into it. It'll kind of blend with this color. And if it doesn't, that's fine. You can do it as many times as you need to until it gets to the look that you want. So I oftentimes would do 5 or 6 or more layers on my eggs just to get them just right, you know. So all right, that looks good. Let's go ahead and add some greens to our nest here. So I'm going to use this angle brush again, and some of the Phthalo blue. Get a little turquoise, and I'm going to get some of this some of the yellow. Make a nice bright, cheerful green. If you want it a little bit more neutral, we can add a little bit of like yellow oxide to neutralize it, so it's a little bit more natural color. Okay, there we go. I'm going to start there. I'm just going to dab in some random leaves, and I'm literally just going to, you can see, just use the tip of the brush and guide it around here. Now if I set it down and kind of pull a little bit, it gives me a leaf shape. So it kind of goes quickly, and don't be too fussy with it. I find with stuff like this, the faster that you work, the better sometimes. So we're just laying the groundwork for our flowers to go in. There we go. You get a little bit of that turquoisey color and add some of that in. Some from our eggs. Just a little bit of it. Okay. And let's go ahead and use a little bit of yellow. Get the Naples Yellow. To mix Naples Yellow, let's see what they've got in it. Let's see what colors are. It says, doesn't say on there. If you go to the Golden website, it'll tell you the exact pigments that they use for each of their colors. Naples Yellow is a mixed color. It is white and yellow oxide and diary-lyed yellow. So a diary-lyed yellow is like it's kind of like this. So we could probably get this with these two, or no, this and white. So the Indian yellow, the yellow oxide, and white would get you something similar to the Naples Yellow Hue. It's kind of just an orangey yellowish, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to this. So I grab that little bit of cadmium yellow light and the Naples Yellow Hue and some white here. And I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and do that last, because I don't want to. It's going to be kind of the little spice sprinkle on in there at the end to spice up our colors. I don't want to put it on too soon because I'm not sure where my flowers are going to go yet. Okay, I'm going to get some more of the raw sienna and burnt orange here, and I'm just going to kind of fill out my bird on this side. I notice he's kind of looking a little funky on this side. Bring it out a little bit more. Okay, there we go.
So I will have to say that I've seen some pretty darn good bunny paintings this week on your Facebook
I
group.
know. I'm
People
so
are killing it.
excited. They are so cute. I can't stand it. Oh my gosh, I love it. So great. Yeah, you guys, I love that bunny. It was so cute. It was so fun. That just things that you paint just make you feel good, you know. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. All right, so I'm switched to my 1/4-inch blender here, and I'm just going to add my highlights to my eggs here very roughly. Wipe my brush off. That paint's still wet. I'm going to get my original color, if I can get some of that original nest or egg color, and I'm going to come with that around the edges of it and just kind of push that white around. Now I would probably do these one at a time because I'm working pretty quick here, but if you're doing it, I would probably just do your white and then do so that your white doesn't dry on you. I've done this a time or two. Just saying, if I get comments saying I make it look easy, it's only because I've painted about 200 of these. So if you paint 200, you're going to make it look easy too. It's nothing. I'm not magic, I swear. I just practiced it a whole lot. It's not. There's no trick to it. I'm just. Just been painting for 30 years or so and done nests for about 5 of them. Almost exclusively. I got before I did YouTube, I swear, I'm not marking telling you, I painted nests, I painted butterflies, and I maybe painted 3 landscapes and maybe painted couple birds and some fruit and vegetables, and that's about it. I did not do a ton of other. I kind of found something I liked, and that's what I painted. And I did not try much new things until I got to teaching on YouTube, and I had people like, it's so weird they didn't want to paint nests every week, so you know.
And one tip is that
I just pulled that off. Darn it!
You're painting 3 eggs in here, but you know, we've had a lot of people back in the day when you were doing these commissions. You'd paint the number of eggs per the number of children somebody might have. So if you have 3 kids, 3 eggs or 4, so on and so forth. Yeah,
people bought paintings, you know, and commissioned paintings that had me even add painting, add eggs to paintings that they already bought after the fact. That's pretty fun. All right, so we'll let that dry. That was starting to dry, and I touched it, and it lifted right off. So need to be careful about that. Okay, I don't know why that is brown right there. That's weird. Go back and fix that. Not sure why I painted it that color. Oh, I guess it is kind of that color in the picture, but not that much. Okay, there we go. All right. Just stop fussing with it. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and paint in our flowers. So I'm going to get the magenta And I'm going to use a little bit of the Quinacridone Burnt Orange just so that we have a little bit of that tone in there because we used it up here, and so it'll kind of anchor that color a little bit better since we haven't used magenta anywhere else. So anytime you're introducing a new color, if you kind of mix in a little bit of something else that you've got going on, it'll help it look a little bit better. It won't look so out of place.
So the sign for tone, anchor, and mixing are all the same, but it's just how you wiggle your hand.
Shut up.
I didn't know that.
Quiet.
Sorry.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so I'm going to just start with a few buds here. And let's do some buds over here. And literally just setting my brush down at pointing the tip down. If you are using an angle brush and you just point the tip down, it'll make this little rounded bud shape super easy. And it's fun to do. All right, and then I'm gonna, let's do large flower here. Do they have 4? Do they have 5? I think they have 5, right? Yeah, 5. That sounds right. Get better lighting for those side cam, huh? It's all washed out. Can't see it. You can get your side cam up higher or something.
Well, it's actually so that they can see how the brush is being held, not so much the color of the painting. It's
okay.
just so they can see the angle that you're holding it and
right.
the tip and so forth.
Right,
so.
right.
Don't be dissing my side cam.
I'm not. Well, it's just...
People like
I
the
was
side
looking
cam.
at it. Okay, good. Good to know.
Just happens that we get a super chat when I'm doing side cam, so...
Oh, there you go.
So
okay.
leave my side cam alone.
All right, so just kind of trying to place these sort of in a pleasing arrangements, you know. Not all of them fully opened or facing us. I want to kind of have some that are partially opened. I'm adding a lot more than is in my original photo. I didn't mix up enough color.
What? You're adding more flowers than what was in the photo?
It's not. I made up the photo, so I get to do what I want.
I would have thought it'd been the other way. That's more normal.
It's my fake.
Your vibe.
What?
That's more your vibe. You're
What?
putting in less flowers.
Less flowers, more my vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so weird, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He says knowingly.
I wonder how many butterfly streamers you got for your birthday.
Mark, I don't know if you're new to our channel. We had a Valentine's Day incident, or I asked for one small arrangement from this particular wholesale flower company, mind you. So a small order is enough to do 3 large arrangements probably, or whatever. So Mark orders me a small and a medium. And I literally was arranging flowers for an entire day. Just about. Which I'm not complaining. It was fun and it was nice. I was just busy that day and it wasn't something I'd planned on doing, but you can't put it off because they're there and you have to do it when they're, get them in water and stuff. They don't come in water. So anyhow, but yeah, so I asked for something else. So I have some butterflies in the studio that Mark got me, and I asked for more for my birthday, and
So I will go down in history as the first man to ever get in trouble for getting too many flowers. I've been in trouble for not getting flowers at all.
Right.
So I've hit both ends of the spectrum. So
We're just starting on Modern Family. I know it's like been around forever, and I think the series has ended now years ago. Yeah, it's like just like a millennial discovering Friends for the first time. You know, it's like, oh, this found the greatest show. Yeah. So anyhow, the one last night was about gift giving. The woman was. I was like, this feels like our life right now. I feel like they're playing out our yeah, exactly. I don't know. You had to be there. I'm not going to try to explain it. All right. So looking good. So fun. And see how having that dark background just makes any colors just really pop. Any vibrant colors just really shine. Are these dry? I don't know. I'm going to get a little bit more white. Actually, I'm going to get the Zinc White because that's transparent, and so that'll make a nice, like, transparent highlight on my eggs. And I'm going to just use the tip of the brush here and just kind of tap it out and use my finger around the edges. Already got a little bit of color down, but I used like a white that had I had mixed a little bit of that blue into it, so this is just more of a pure white now going on. Just put it on, and then you can kind of either use your finger or your brush to kind of just brush around the edges and smudge them out a little bit. I like to do the highlight kind of in the same-ish general area on all the eggs. So you can just pick a spot and sort of, and really it's kind of in the middle. Should be in the middle. Because that would be the whitest part of the egg. Okay, so getting back in some of that original egg color. I keep running out. You might want to mix up a good amount of that and just keep it wet because you're going to need to dip back into it over and over again. Okay. These can be, I have to say, these can be a little tricky because it's such a small area. So just take your time. If you find the color is getting away from you or it's going in places where you don't want it to, oftentimes that happens when you put too much color on your brush, with too much paint on your brush. And you may put your color down and then try to move it around and it's just going everywhere and it's not... So I usually put the color down like that and then wipe my brush off and then go back in and blend it out. And if it's not blending, you can pick up just a tiny bit of water and help that to move. Okay, that's the key, is when you do your blending, you shouldn't have any paint on your brush really. It should be fairly dry, and that's going to give you a nice blend. Okay, so now we've got that egg pretty much done. I'm getting this is that shadow color that we had on our egg from before we did our shadow layer. So I'm just picking up a little bit more of it. Again, wipe my brush off, put the paint down on the egg, wipe my brush off, then come back to it and push it around and blend it. Okay. More of that darker color. I'm going to do this back one. Now this one will be a little tricky because it's got two eggs in front of it. So you have to kind of do right there. And if you want, you can move it so it's not got any eggs in front of it. You can have them kind of side by side if you want. This is the more tricky way of doing it. and this is the egg color, the regular egg color here. And and I want a little bit of the darker color, or the kind of medium color around the top edge of the egg too. This is not going to be highlighted right on the edge since it's a rounded surface. I have a little bit of darker along the edges and then highlight kind of toward the middle. Okay, looking good. Then our last one here. This should get us to where we want to be on our eggs. We'll see after this. And then this is the point after this would dry. Then I would splatter them if you're doing a speckled egg, which I really want to do. I really want to do that. Maybe the bluebird is looking at the eggs of the blue jay. It's because blue jays have really pretty eggs that have speckles. And they're almost this color. Maybe he's just like checking out the nest. He's about to get his butt whipped. Because the blue jays like, get away from my eggs. Maybe not. If we want to be accurate, we can just leave them this way.
So the color,
No
yeah.
spotters.
I mean, he might be going, holy moly. Those eggs came out of my mate.
I know. Yeah, we would we had bluebirds nesting, and we'd go out and look at the eggs, and oh my gosh, they're so pretty, and they were huge for the size of the bird.
I'm gonna put the nest back up this year.
These are actually probably too big. Not honestly, looking at the bird, these are too big because they're actually not this big. They're probably not quite half that size. I didn't even think about that. Thanks, honey. No. I'm like, these for real are not their eggs.
So you brought the blue jay, so I was like,
did.
well, okay, well, if we're going down that road, I'll mention it. I wasn't going to mention it, but
They are too big. They're way too big.
You don't know that. They could be big bone.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Now I'm...
I should not have said anything. I shouldn't. Oh man, now see, I know better than to say
but
that.
somebody else was going to comment on it. I'm sure somebody else will notice that too and be like, "Oh, those eggs are way too big for that bird." They're big, but they're not this big. It's all make believe. It's okay.
There you go.
You are not helping.
Take off your glasses.
Okay. Such a funny man. I am going to put in a feather here. I'm just using the little white. What do you think? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't love it. It's all right. I don't love it. I'm gonna take it off. If you catch it right away, you can grab it off. Okay. I might just put a little one, like a little fluff, right in here. Just like that indication of something. It gets integrated into the nest a little bit more. Okay. All right, and then before I do any other major details, I want to put in a few more Just gonna get some yellow oxide in Naples Yellow Hue, just some kind of mid-tone yellow, and put in some of the smaller over the top. We did the glazing, so we're just adding back in just a few little sticks. And what I'll do is like find a spot that, like here, you know, where there's like a gap in the dark, and just kind of go over it. And then that's usually a good place to kind of add a little. I'm going to do a few just lighter ones that are kind of right up next to the eggs. Right there. And then bring a few out here. Literally just kind of scribbling with the tip of my brush, holding it very far off the end here, and just kind of letting some like a little random sticks and things happen. And I'm going to kind of twist them now. Do some little twisted. So I'm just kind of twirling my brush as I'm painting. So I'm getting kind of like little twisties, little curled branches. These are pretty subtle. I'm keeping them, I'm not doing them too bright so that they'll be kind of, they're there, but they're not like super in your face. All right. All right, so the finishing touch on the eggs, and this is really important, it's scary, but it's important, is to use my darkest, like blue, like burnt umber black. I'm going to start with like kind of a mixture. And get it pretty dark. I'm going to go up underneath these bottom ones here with this, just where they're touching down into the nest. It just grounds them. It darkens up and I'm doing it not only on the egg itself, but also on the nest under it. So it's going to darken the egg and the shadow on the nest there, and it's just going to make them kind of disappear down into that dark nest.
Look like they're sitting in it, not on
Right,
on
exactly.
it. Hey, real quick, on when you were doing all the twirly squiggly things, which brush was that?
That was just that round brush that I've been using, the 2 round.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You could use a liner brush for that too. So usually I do it with a liner brush, but that brush was doing pretty good for me as far as like small enough, you know, squiggles. My squiggles were small. So, okay, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. And this is where I can kind of go over, I'm going to go over these flat feathers that I added and just kind of glaze them in a little bit so they kind of meld with the rest of the nest. Looking good. And then let's go ahead and do this one. I guess this was doing good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna get some of the unbleached titanium, but this is the Titan buff that's in the fluid acrylic, and just a little bit of the Naples yellow. And this is going to be my highlight layer on here, so I'm gonna pick a spot and just do some and go up over my eggs just a little bit. See that? I don't like that brush, but it's too late now. I should have used this one. Go back to this. It's too different. Probably should have done this before I did my flowers, but just having to let everything dry, you know, we gotta do something. So this is what I would do though. I would do something like this, and then I would glaze. You know, I would do the first thing, glaze. I would do another layer like this one, and then glaze again, and then do another layer of the highlight. So usually I would do this 3 times, and that would give me the most depth and just really interesting things going on in my nests. So we're not doing it as much as I normally would here. I think we'll end here. But I probably will glaze this just a little bit because it probably needs it. Okay. Good, good. I'm gonna dip all these brushes back into my water so they don't dry out. That, and let's go ahead and get by. Have we been going 2 hours? No, we've been going an hour and a half. Okay, I was looking at that time. I was like, thinking we've been going 2 hours, but we hadn't. Making good time. All right, getting my white. I'm gonna get some magenta, a little bit of the burnt orange. Get this pink color, get my lighter pink, and then I just need to highlight my flowers here a little bit. So yeah, there we go. Go a little bit. I don't want that much brighter. I need a little bit of my darker color too to kind of meld with this, so get a little bit of both of those. And can I have both on my brush here, the lighter and the darker? Yeah, that'll give me a better, softer touch here. Turning the brush so it's pointing inward can help get a better shape. So do these ones and then turning it so that it's pointing in. The tip is pointing in towards the center of the flower. Okay. Okay. Good, and then we'll get smaller around here. Get a little bit of black with my magenta need to clean off my palette. I have no place to mix colors. I'll leave a little bit of that green there. I think there's still some left usable.
So could you explain glazing a little bit?
Yeah, glazing is just adding a transparent layer over the top of something you've already painted. So what it does is add depth because you're leaving some of the original color showing. You're just adding a new color over the top. So you kind of have to know that the color you're adding over it is what it's gonna do. Kind of, usually I use a version of the color I've already painted underneath, like just a darker version or something like that. But you're going to be, it's generally a darker color than what you can use a lighter color, but it doesn't, obviously work as well because the lighter color's not going to cover over a darker color as well. I use it for I think technically it's called scumbling when you're adding a transparent lighter color over a darker color, but anyhow, you're adding either color or darkness to your painting. So say on the wings here, if I wanted to add a little bit brighter blue, I could go in with my Ultramarine Blue and anywhere where I have a lighter color, it'll shine through this glaze that I'm going to put on it. So it will make it more vibrant. So I've got a transparent ultramarine blue, and if I put it over my Bluebird here, I'm just going to change the color to a little bit brighter, but I can still see the feathers through it. That's the key. That's the difference between doing this and doing a regular layer where it's more of a solid color, because on a regular layer you would be covering up all of the detail that you've already done, and this is just toning the color. And
Okay, so you dipped your paint in something in the lower right side.
That was the glazing medium. That's
Okay.
glazing medium. You either add water or glazing medium or both to make your color transparent. It helps to have a color that is transparent already. So using a paint color that is a transparent color, and you can tell on the tubes, like this one's not transparent because you can't see the black lines through it. But like Quinacridone Magenta is, because you can see it. Really, it's very transparent, and also we'll show it on the back here. It has a little thing that shows transparent and opaque at the top here on golden paints, and most paints will have a little key. I'm trying to. Anyhow, most of them will have like a little square on them that'll show. I'm trying to find liquid text. Yeah, there we go. It's right there, that little square. So that one's opaque. If it's transparent or translucent, it'll be white. It'll just be a box with white inside, or a straight line that's like half black, half white. So other brands, most brands will have something on there that indicate the transparency to make it easier for you, because they know it makes a difference, when you're and a transparent color won't cover other colors up very well. So a lot of times I'll have people commenting saying, I got these new paints and they're terrible. They don't cover anything, or I can't, and it's because they're transparent, probably colors. And these can be a little bit tricky to work with if you don't know that you need to make sure that you add a little bit of a color that is opaque, like a little tiny touch of white or something to it to make it cover, So, all right, so I've taken that green that was from before. I think it was the Phthalo blue and the turquoise with my, which one did I use? Yellow and yellow oxide. And then I added more yellow here and more white here. So that's all that is. It's just the kind of a little bit more of that, the same I'm just gonna add some more leaves and adding some kind of brighter colors this time. Just and this is where I can kind of, you know, guide the eye around too, so I can say, you know, oh, this one's pointing out this way. I need a little bit, you know, pointing in, so I can do like a little, you know, line or something that's coming in, guiding the eye back in. This time I'm just kind of setting my brush down, letting the shape of it create the leaves. All right, this is fun. You gotta kind of pull yourself back. I want to cover the entire thing with these, but
you got no time for that.
no. All right, I'm going to get some of the turquoise. I'm going to make a turquoise that is similar to the turquoise that we used in our background. So the Phthalo blue, Cobalt teal, and a little bit of burnt sienna. And I'm going to use this green with it and kind of make it a little bit lighter, or add white to it if I need to, but just kind of bridge that gap between that background color and the foreground color. And I'm going to just make a few leaves with this. I want it a little bit darker. I'm going to get some phthalo blue and burnt umber. And honestly, you can do whatever color leaves you want, but I did some of these teal leaves in the example thing, and I really liked the color. Kind of helped having a little bit of that bluish color down in here. Okay. And again, we're making this up, so as much or as little as you want. It's up to you. Adding a little bit of black to that purple. I mixed up a purple using the Ultramarine Blue and Quinacridone Magenta, adding a little bit of black, making it a nice dark. And I'm going to do some little stamens on the centers of my flowers. So a little magenta. Centers. Just little, and I'm going to add yellow to these, but this is just giving me a backdrop for the yellow to go on top of. Okay. And then grabbing let's grab both of those. Now, the yellow oxide, I grabbed that because it is opaque. Then I add my color that I want to it. So this is the Indian Yellow Hue. So that's a little bit more orangey yellow, but it is not opaque. It is transparent. So kind of knowing your paints as you're painting can help you choose, too. And then the cadmium yellow light is opaque, but it's not as opaque as the yellow oxide. So it is going to add just a little bit more brightness. This added the orangey tone, this added the brightness, and this added the opaque kind of base. So now I have a nice yellow that is opaque that's going to cover up over what I've already done here. I don't have to worry about it being see-through. See that? And I might add a little bit of the burnt orange color, like that's in our bird, to this, the quinacridone burnt orange to this. And use a little bit of that in the centers too. Okay, and then I definitely need a little bit brighter pink on my flowers, I'm noticing. So I'm going to get a little bit more of my magenta and my white. A little bit of that burnt orange. So I want to go just a little bit brighter than what I did before. And this is going to be the final layer of my pink flowers, and so I'm really going to be careful where I'm placing this color. This will be really bright and really attract attention. So I'm going to use a little bit smaller brush. This is a 2. And I'm just going to kind of hit up the tips of some of these petals with this. Look at some pictures of some flowers to see where the light's hitting them. But generally, if they're cupped like this, the light's going to hit, you know, it'll hit on the inside of the petal, you know, depending on where the light's coming from too. So it's not always going to be on just the tips of the petal, but
so completely unrelated to what you're talking about right now. So your first posted YouTube video, January 5th, 2011, was a nest?
yes,
A nest, see? It comes full circle.
it does.
Or we're just getting dizzy, I'm not sure.
500 and something videos later. No, actually 600 if you count all the Patreon ones.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, I started doing YouTube because I was doing gallery shows and stuff, and I just wanted to advertise. I was trying to sell some stuff online too. I didn't want to rely on the gallery. I wanted to cut out the middleman, you know, and not have to pay those gallery fees off of my earnings. And so it was like YouTube was very new. People were just starting to use it for stuff, and I was teaching classes, but it was kind of a side hustle. It wasn't my main income. And I just did it because I liked being around the kids mostly. And I had a bunch of homeschool moms that wanted an art teacher, so they were friends of mine, so I did it for them. And anyhow, I didn't see anybody doing kind of the stuff. Not that many artists were sharing their art yet on, you know, internet, and definitely not a lot of tutorials, at least not free ones. And so I was like, well, maybe some people, instead of doing the, you know, those first few videos didn't get that much attention because I didn't, you know, have any following yet. And yeah, I was just kind of throwing it out in the wind. And, but boy, that first tutorial, those first couple tutorial paintings really got popular fast because people hadn't, it was new.
Well, you started at the time when YouTube was mostly people wearing dog shock collars and running around and doing stupid things.
Right. Yeah, it was more of the
Funny cat videos.
right
And things.
silly. It's still funny cat videos, but
Well, yeah. But now you can learn anything.
right. Yes, it's become more of a learning platform, you know, in some ways.
It's the number 2 search engine in the world.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Behind Google,
Behind Google.
which owns it. So.
Correct. Yeah, we were watching a video yesterday, another YouTuber I like, and they're like, yeah, if you search for something on Google, it's going to suggest YouTube videos to you.
Yeah, Oh, that's true. I never noticed that, but yeah, you're right. Okay, you need to know how to do this? Well, here's a video for you.
Mm-hmm. Here's a review of that product. Here's how to use that product.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I use it all the time for that. All right, and then I'm going to get some green here. Mix up some green, some of the teal and the yellow. Maybe a little bit of the phthalo blue to darken it up a little bit. Maybe a little bit of burnt sienna to neutralize it. And I'm going to find these buds and just kind of put little bits on the ends of the buds so that they're not just floating. Gotta give them something to attaching them to. Just a little dab at their base. And then let's add some. Okay, let's go in now and glaze again on our nest before I forget. So getting some of that burnt umber and a little bit of black, mostly burnt umber this time. And I'm just going to go in and tuck it in here and there, just maybe where there might be a shadow or go over my egg a little bit there. This will be the last time. So, and I also would go in and use the tip of this and just kind of go in the middle or around some of these. And like if I saw one that's kind of sticking out funny and doesn't look like it's like right here is a perfect example of this little stick right here. So I'd go in and kind of just dab it in a little bit at the top of it where it goes down in and kind of, you know, introduce it better into the nest there. This is totally a fussing, you know, just final detail step that you can or can't, you know, you can leave it out if it's stressing you out, but I think it just helps kind of get all whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we're ready for that yellow that I had mixed up before, so I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was just these two together and some white. Naples yellow, cadmium yellow light. Yep. That's it. So just a creamy pale yellow. And I'm going to use my 2 round here, and I'm just going to dab it on here. Some little spots around my flowers. Don't do too much, Ange. Don't do too much. Okay, and then see how it's all in a line, so I don't want that. I want it kind of be a little bit more, you know, random. So I'm going to move it around. Here we go.
We have some questions I've been holding.
Okay. Sure.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. First one.
How do you mix a paint and then not have too much paint on the brush? Seems to end up with all the paint on the brush and not on the palette. If you have too much paint on your brush, like you've mixed it up and you've got a ton of paint, you just take your brush and push it down and swish it to the side. Just twist it and it'll come off on your palette, and then you'll have the right amount on your brush.
Nice. Very nice. Okay.
I'm going to use a little bit of this in the centers of these flowers too. Okay, go.
Next question. What is the difference between floating medium and glazing medium?
Floating medium would be similar probably. So I'm not sure. You just have to. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't use floating medium, so I really don't know a lot about it. But I would think it's probably does something similar.
All right, next question. Person says beautiful. I don't know if that was directed towards me, but thanks. What could you do to enlarge the bird to make it look a little bit bigger without redoing it?
With what?
Without redoing it. So if it's where it's at now, could you do anything?
Oh yeah, I'm going to highlight the legs too. I could probably make. I would have to redo the head. I wouldn't really be able to redo it. Okay. I could maybe make the body longer this way and not have to redo the head, but the head wouldn't be in perspective to the body, but then so it doesn't really make sense to do that. Okay. Yeah. So no. I'm gonna get some black. I'm gonna make this eye a little bit bigger. Notice in my picture it's a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. That makes it cuter too. Go ahead.
Oh, those were all the questions.
Okay.
Super
I'm gonna
chats,
get some white. And then yeah, let's do the little highlight on the legs. I'm gonna get they're kind of gray. So just kind of add a little highlight. I really did want them to kind of disappear down into the nest, so we'll leave them fairly dark. They don't need a lot of detail. There we go.
I want to put up this super chat before it falls
Okay,
off the
go for it. All right.
Just 'cause I think it's funny.
Pair character exaggeratedly stretching his arm forward to offer a cup of coffee.
So it was one of those memes. It
Oh, that's funny.
There's no message, but how it explains it.
It was an emoji.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So thank you, Celtic.
Thank you, Celtic,
character.
for the pair character exaggeratedly stretching his arm forward to offer a cup of coffee.
Or tea. depending
Or
on which
tea.
one.
Yes, tea. Tea would be my preference. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to use this dark purple here that we mixed up, and I'm going to add some sticks with it. And it's all about contrast, color contrast. I am zooming in too far, and they can't see what I'm doing.
Why are you painting over there?
All right, I think we're just about done. What do you think? Is there anything else I missed?
I don't think so.
I think the feet were the last little bit there. Might add some lighter brown sticks. I get some of this unbleached titanium with my brown. A little bit of the Naples Yellow. Just a light beige. And throw some random sticks out here. In a lighter color. They were kind of all pretty dark, so just kind of. and maybe, you know, change up the direction of some of these. I like it. Okay, and I had a really long one in my photo, so I want to do that. Do one that's kind of coming up over towards the bird. I don't know if I want to make it a branch though. Let me try that again. There we go. Actually, that's better. Just softer. Get a different color here so it's not all the same color. No. Try. There we go. And then I think I want some brighter greens leaves. Just a little touch of like a brighter, like, more olive toned green here. I'm going to use the Cadmium Yellow Light and the Ultramarine Blue. It'll create more of an olive toned green. And adding some Unbleached Titanium to it. Okay. Maybe some teeny tiny little leaves this time. And the thing with doing it this way, these kind of type of paintings, it kind of just sort of confuses the eye. It's got a lot going on. It's busy, but it works because we're using all the same kind of colors, and we're using different sizes of brush strokes. So some of the brush strokes, some of the leaves are larger, and some of them are going to be smaller, and we're helping to guide the eye around that way. Pull some up this way so it's pointing up towards the bird. I love it. And I want to do, I think I'm going to do, just to finish it, I want to do some Bluebird color dots. So just the Bluebird blue, that light blue. And these will just be little accent touches here and there, but it'll really tie everything together. Ooh, that's a lot. I probably could have left a little breathing room. I do this. This is my thing. I do it every time.
You even told yourself earlier.
I know. It's okay. It's fine. It looks good. I don't know when to stop when it comes to flowers. It's a lot of flowers. I could probably have done half this many flowers and been fine, but I like it, so.
You ready to super chat?
Sure.
Super chat.
Excellent. Party on. We actually did that like we planned it.
Yeah. So thank you. We had lots of super chatters. So we had the parent chatter
wow.
earlier.
Oh, like a birthday gift chatters.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you guys.
This one here is from Angela.
Oh,
And it says, thank you so much. That paintings are always so detailed, and my finished product looks so much better than I ever thought I would be able to do.
That's awesome.
So thank you,
Yay.
Angela. That's fantastic.
That really makes my day. It does.
Then we have Iowa Beth, and says, thank you for fitting us into your schedule today. Safe travels.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. That'll help go towards gas.
And then we have from Deb C. And it says, beautiful. Such pleasure watching you paint. Love the interaction between you and Mark. Travel safely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Man, you guys are super generous today. Thank you.
And
awesome.
then we have from Danette. And this is an awesome
I cannot
painting.
follow, but I did my best. Oh, man, you're trying to paint along? Holy crap. That's hard. That's hard to do.
I told him in chat that
I don't-
it's very brave to try to paint along.
Yeah, I don't even do that because I've tried. It's hard.
And then from Joylyn.
Oh,
Giant character waving flags, turning around, making the buildings in front of them tremble.
woohoo!
But
Here's the flag wave.
but she said, a little something to help for gas.
Oh,
So,
thank you guys. Wow, you guys are so awesome. Thank you. All right, so one thing I want to do, because this and this and this don't, like the blue here doesn't look like it's quite right to me. So I'm going to glaze. This is a way to add just a tiny touch of this blue to my eggs. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do just a tiny little corner of these with this this blue. And that will hopefully, yes, see? Now they look a little bit more the same. They just kind of fit the narrative. They fit the color story a little bit better. They're not quite as like on their own. We did a lot of flowers today.
Okay, real quick,
I love it though. I thought it was fun.
we have another question.
Okay.
Your upcoming Instagram live chat you're doing.
Yes.
Is that going to be available on any other platform? 'Cause some people may not have Instagram, so.
No, I don't think so. I think we'll probably have the link to it on my website once it's done, but it'll be playing from Instagram.
Okay, so right now there's no plans to
upload it somewhere else.
Right,
No,
perfect.
I don't have a place to do that. Unfortunately, we're trying to grow our Instagram, and we're just trying to kind of branch out so that we're not so reliant on just YouTube or just Facebook. For, a lot of people are leaving Facebook, so I'm trying to kind of build up Instagram a little bit more and try to branch out, do some TikTok, get the newer young folks watching. We'll see. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with everybody's here.
No, not at all. Y'all are awesome.
And you don't have to be young to do TikTok either.
You don't. It just seems like that's what's on there. So that's right.
The majority, the curve is definitely slanted towards
Younger people.
the younger generation.
Yeah. So
But that's okay.
for sure. Yeah. We're just
There's
happy
people
to.
like us on there too.
There is. Mark's got a coworker that puts up videos about what
Farm
is he
stuff.
doing? Farm stuff. Yeah.
He's kicking your butt.
Is he?
Well, yeah, he's got that one video that's got 450,000
Oh my
views on it.
gosh, that's funny.
It is hilarious.
It's. I watched it. It's just him showing a tool.
Yeah,
That's all it is. No music or anything. It's just.
It's a pallet fork.
It's all it is. Like, okay.
I told him he got so many views because people are going, sitting there watching, going, "What is it?
Exactly. That's probably what it is.
What am I watching?"
I'm confused.
In the TikTok algorithm, going, "People love this."
It's awesome.
Anyways,
All right, that's it. We've done lots of fun flowers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Come back. We'll be back. We're not having a video on Tuesday, but we will be back on what day is I'm thinking.
Saturday. We're gonna be back
Yes,
Saturday.
next Saturday we will be back. So we will.
And then the bonus videos.
Yes, we've got a busy week next week. Here, I'm going to sign it while we're signing off here. So thank you guys for watching. And yeah, we're going to be like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't already. And we will.
Below this video is the description and has all the materials used, links to the brush guys. If you want to buy brushes, some great deals over there. Amazon links, social media links.
Yes.
Links, and I think there's links to links. So.
Links. Exactly. All right. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys next Saturday. All right. Have a great week. Bye.